Hi, so we are going to recap what we thought about Yellowstone.
Which might get interesting because it's 9:20 and
Several alcoholic drinks in.
I found good whiskey. Yeah, so we just spent today doing the Jackson Hole stuff, which we'll talk about later. But this is supposed to be about Yellowstone and the 3 days that we spent there. Number one, the place that we stayed at, super awesome. Highly recommend it for everybody.
It was 10 minutes outside of about 10 minutes outside of Madison, the west entrance of Yellowstone.
Kind of traffic dependent, but everything around Yellowstone is traffic dependent.
Yes.
You can be 5 minutes away from something, and because of bison in the road, or people stopping to take pictures of bison, or bison just being there, and people slowing down to look at them because they haven't seen enough freaking bison. You see literally hundreds of bison everywhere you go in Yellowstone. And
Almost
no
everywhere.
matter where you go, people will act like it's the first time. Just, and it's so frustrating after like this. Seriously, after like 2 hours in, I can't do it anymore. It's frustrating.
We did 3 days of Yellowstone, 3.5, but the first half doesn't count really. We weren't stuck in traffic, but all 3 days we were stuck in traffic, and it was because of leaving.
Always leaving.
Always leaving between 4:30 and 5. One
We
day
got
we were
lucky.
stuck in traffic for an hour and a half because bison were migrating across the street, and so we had to go really slow. And in fact, I think it might have been that day that we heard that one of the bison punctured someone's tire.
Yeah, they put holes in the front fender and the tire of a car
Yeah.
because they were trying to slide between a mama buffalo and a baby buffalo, and mama buffalo just knocked the crap out of their car.
So yeah, that's the driver's fault. The driver should have done that.
Yeah, but they get rangers out there to like stop traffic, let bison go, and then when the bison look like they're slowing down, they'll start pushing traffic through. But for whatever reason, it was always the opposite direction that had the easiest flow, so we would just get stuck every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tons of fun.
But beyond that,
But that's just is what it is. That's part of being there, right? Like
you just
everybody
go there
you talk
and
to,
you just expect that. Put that in your schedule. Put an hour of traffic in your schedule.
Leaving.
Leaving.
That afternoon.
Yeah, maybe 2 hours
I am here
throughout the entire day of just slow traffic
and
is
plan on
probably a
eating
good
pizza
plan.
more than you want to, because getting into any of the restaurants, if you're actually hiking, spending time at the park, if you're later than about 4:30 getting out of the park, you're not going to find a restaurant.
Now let's preface this. We went during COVID, which we're still in the pandemic, so it does pose a little different. The restaurants are running a little slower because there's not a whole lot of people working right now. A lot of people are having to change their entire menu, and they're doing just-to-go orders and things like that. So that might play a part in it, but if you're in the west entrance, that is the most popular entrance because you're in between Mammoth and in between Old Faithful, and those are the 2 most popular parts, I think, in Yellowstone.
But also that part just doesn't seem like it can handle the amount of people, just in general. The amount of people that go there. I saw a sign that said they have like 1,400 residents, and they have a transient population of 14,000 every day. And that's got to be spread out.
We're talking about West Yellowstone, Madison. Is what he's talking about, Madison.
And it shows because the restaurants are jam packed. We got
great shopping though.
Great
lots of great restaurants. We're not knocking it. We just want you aware before you plan your trip. We want you to be able to. It'd be good to have a plan of where you want to go that day, and don't just walk into it like, where do you want to eat? Because you're not going to be able to find a restaurant.
We did that one night.
Yeah.
And we walked for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, leftovers.
Yeah, we ended up with leftovers because we're like, we're dead. There's a line there, line there, line there, and we just didn't want to wait.
Everything was an hour. It was like 8 o'clock. Like, all right.
We're done.
But that said, the pizza places, if you place an order while you leave the park, you can park, do a little shopping. On a vacation, you always have something. Beef jerky. There's an awesome beef jerky place in Madison. They've got fried garlic, which I've never even heard of. Delicious.
Yeah.
Highly recommend that joint. Can't remember the name of it.
So we gave you a whole spiel of West Yellowstone. So now let's scoot back to actual Yellowstone, because you might not even be staying in West Yellowstone.
The purpose of the video.
The purpose of the video. But if West Yellowstone was the most popular place, then for people to stay, then we should give that, and we did. Yeah. I think we did a good job. Good place
to visit, but
anyway.
That important.
So with Yellowstone, I have two different advice for you. One of them would be if you're just going to sightsee and not really do any hiking, then I would definitely recommend 3.5 days, because there's a lot of getting in and out of the car, and we just spoke extensively about the buffalo that just get in your way, and then there's a lot of trails like boardwalks to walk to different areas, and it's not everything you get out to see. It's not just boom, boom, boom. It's okay, we're going to spend time here, and then maybe it's a 30-minute drive to your next destination. It's a gigantic
huge park. Yeah.
It's huge.
That was something that surprised me.
So
was the drive time.
A lot of people give advice to do the North Loop for one day and then the South Loop for another day, but I think
that's only hitting highlights.
Yeah, only hitting
You're
highlights.
really only getting out 2 or 3 times maybe on both sides if you do that. And there's so much to see that's not necessarily on a boardwalk.
Yeah, and if you like to take your time.
Yeah, and it's not if you're going to read everything too on the boardwalks. They have a ton of information.
Yes.
If you're a nerd, if you like to read a lot, you can spend a lot of time just absorbing all the either the rangers also are out there, they're talking, but the placards they have up with everything. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to go through.
So we also should have started this video with saying if you're going to Yellowstone or any national park, get Gypsy, the Gypsy app. GYSPY. Gypsy.
That's how I spell
GY. Wait. Look, I only had half of this.
GYPSY.
What he said.
It's Gypsy.
And we're prefacing how much you had.
I had a lot. I'm gonna be honest. I found some great whiskey deals.
Okay. All right. So he spelled it. The Gypsy app. Get it, because it made our entire Yellowstone experience unbelievable. The guy does so much background into every part of the park that you're at, and gives you stories of maybe who found this park, or what something was named after, or even just a story that happened, like why you found a boat on Yellowstone Lake that was looks like it's been in a fire, which it was, and he tells you why.
I like the geological descriptions. I'm
it gets
not the smartest person, but he breaks it down to language that I can understand.
And then I felt like when we went to go see something and I'm starting to read it, I'm like, oh, I don't even have to read that. He told me all about it.
Yeah.
So.
And plus little tidbits of information, little bits of history about a given, hot water spring next to the lake that fishermen would catch fish and dunk them in and cook them right then. Like they wouldn't take them off the hook. They would just dip them in, boil them for a couple of minutes, pull them out, scrape the scales off, and eat them.
And
who would know that? Because I looking at it, I would never do that, but apparently people did.
Yeah, and we hardly even had to use the map. We used the map a couple times just to plan how we were going to start our day, because obviously the app doesn't know where we want to go. But he lets you know in advance what's coming up. He'll tell you, okay, you really, really want to stop here, or well, this spot has all of these features, and if you have time, then I recommend to stop. Otherwise, let's keep going. So it definitely helped us.
But I can't recommend. So I can't speak for what we bypassed in terms of trails, the different lookouts and stuff. But everything,
we didn't bypass much.
Everything that he told us to stop at, we did, and it was worth it every single time. we had our own plan. Tara with her research before we came, we had a dedicated outline of the park that we were going to hike, drive, and see. And because I push her, we were able to do all of our hikes really, really fast. And that
even an unplanned hike, which actually ended up being my most favorite hike, and I'll get onto that in just a second.
But because of that, because we were able to move a little faster than we anticipated, we were able to do all of his primary stops, and they're all worth it. And just from the drive-bys, the stuff that he didn't mention, I gotta say they probably weren't worth it. Now the longer stuff,
weren't worth it compared to everything else in the park. Let's put it that way. Everything's still beautiful, but
preface
what you
that
see,
with
you get kind of like stuck
part.
up, like that was better.
There's not a bad part of that park.
Yeah.
I'm sure no matter where you walk or stop, there's going to be something worthwhile either to see, take a picture of, touch, smell, be around, whatever. But
well, speaking of touch, don't touch the springs. Don't touch the hot water. We have video of 3 different people going down to touch the hot water. Don't do it.
One of them was at like the hottest point too.
Yeah,
and
right
his
next
face
to the
was
Grand Prismatic
hilarious.
Spring. Oh, okay. I thought you talked about the girl.
No.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but the older dude at that first stop that we did, when he dropped down, he saw him like, and he starts wiping his hand like the scalding water that just burns your hand. Yeah, I'm just gonna wipe it off your hand. No, that's your skin that you're wiping off because the water's freaking 200 degrees.
And don't go right up next to the buffalo.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people have seen videos.
There were
but there are a lot of people
oh
going
my God.
way too
We
close.
didn't get too many videos of it, or maybe we did on
or
action
we were
camera.
driving by. Yeah.
But man,
and they were so close.
Some of them, like there was a dude that was between
us and the camera.
Yeah, like so
come
close.
On, don't be dumb.
And I almost wanted to stop, but the traffic behind me. I didn't want to be the cause of a traffic jam, just to watch some dude get mauled.
Right. So So backtrack again. So if you're going and you just want to see stops, I do recommend 3 to 3.5 days. But if you want to hike, because we only hiked 2, 3, maybe trails, in our 3.5 stay. But there are trails everywhere that we don't know about. All I did was I Googled, what are the best trails in Yellowstone? And I just went with other people's advice, which I would have missed the best trail had I just listened to other people's advice. We couldn't do Mount Washburn because that
section of road
between Mount Rushburn and then the northeast entrance of Yellowstone.
Eisenhower Lodge. What is it?
Roosevelt Lodge. Yeah, it's closed till May 2022 is what they're saying for construction. So we couldn't do that part, which was on our schedule to do. So we don't know.
Which is the only thing I really wish we had.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a legit peak.
I would have been upset had we not gone to Biscuit Basin and he said, let's hike to Mystic Falls. That is a hike that I say is a must do because one side of the hike, it takes you, you're next to the river almost the entire way. And then the falls is one of the favorite falls that I saw there. It was beautiful. And then instead of coming back to Biscuit Basin, which is kind of what I wanted to do because I was being lazy from the day before we did a lot of hiking, he's like, no, let's go up.
We hiked almost 15 miles, I think.
Yeah, it was a lot. So we went up and
it was hard.
It was hard. It
was
very steep.
I was pushing her. Like we were moving.
We hike often, so it isn't like we don't hike and we're like it was really hard and you get there and it's super easy. And for some people it will be,
but altitude it was hard. Too. We're from Texas, so being at, almost 7,000 feet is significant for us.
But if you're gonna go for it, I'd say. Even that was great because when you're at the very top, you're in the woods for a little bit, and then you open up to the valley, and the valley was beautiful, and you saw a whole different part of Yellowstone doing it that way.
It was a little smoky for us, so I don't know if we're gonna have pictures that we can actually post or the values even there for the video that we took, but it's almost like being it's like any high point within in a state or a national park. Everything opens up. You've got some fantastic views. Mm-hmm. I like altitudes. I like being high. Whenever we go someplace, we always try to find the highest points that we can reasonably get to. When we did Angel's Landing at Zion and stuff. I mean, that was another really quick, time-packed trip that we still did, like the hardest hikes that we could find. So
Yeah. So I would, given how, I guess it depends on how much hiking you want to do, but definitely more than 3 days if you're gonna do.
if you want,
If you want to experience hiking.
But that's
trails,
also if
take
stuff's
your time.
open. I mean, we had, I think we saw the bulk of what most people would want to see.
Yeah.
We saw the Grand Canyon.
We did
of
Fairy Falls,
Yellowstone.
and that was.
Fairy Falls is okay.
It's
Like,
okay.
if you're a
You're
waterfall
walking in the woods the
junkie.
whole time, so there is no scenery until you're at 2.5 mile mark, and then you come up to. I think they said it was one of the tallest, and it was something like 197 feet. The waterfall was, and it was pretty, and
But that's it. Like,
and that's it.
That's literally all that's there.
They did say we
You
did
can-
hear
you can
from
keep
people
going,
you can
yeah.
keep going somewhere. I didn't quite see a trail, but you did, and there's
Yeah.
a couple of small minuscule geysers or something around there.
Not quite.
Nothing notable.
If it was quality, we'd tell you.
So if you were looking for one trail to do, do it off of Biscuit Basin.
Yeah, Biscuit
And that,
Basin's where it's at.
Yeah.
Because you get everything. You get that high altitude shot of literally the entire valley. You get some like truly awesome waterfalls,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get the river walk. I mean, it's a win all around. And the walk coming up to it, you have a geyser that goes off every like 5 minutes, 6 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
In Biscuit Basin.
Yeah.
You've got some fantastic pools. They're not the prismatic pool, but
Yeah.
they're still pretty awesome. I mean, that's all around. That's probably one of the best spots. Norris is okay. I like Norris, but I think Biscuit Basin is probably the better of the
Biscuit
boardwalk
Basin
/
and Midway.
trails.
Yeah. Oh, trails. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's if you have like I recommend it.
Anyway, if you're going to go camping, we did not go camping, but we both noted that we would want to stay in the Madison campground because you are in between the two busiest areas, which is Old Faithful and Mammoth. So you're kind of in between both parks. If you want quiet time, then I would suggest over by the fishing bridge because we went there and it was like nobody was there. But if you also want
But
something...
that's also supposedly one of the business. The thing is, you can't tent camp there. And I think that's probably why it was less busy. You can
Oh.
you can.
Okay, well I didn't focus on all of that.
Yeah.
But then the Grand Canyon side, I would say was the nicest part when it comes to amenities. The restaurant, and each part has a restaurant, store, lodge, and
The Grand Canyon side just does it
visitor
better.
center. The Grand Canyon side just seemed more laid back and open and less busy for
Yeah.
us when we went in September. I don't know what it's
Yeah.
like any other time.
This is
we went
all
in
a
September.
caveat. This is where, But also with the Grand Canyon side, I think that the traffic's probably going to be easier for you all around because no one's trying to leave the park. You're either staying there or you're not. So, the north side, Madison side, you have all the Airbnbs, the hotels, motels, all the day inns.
That's an accurate statement. Yeah.
So,
I don't know if there's any.
Grand Canyon of Yellowstone is okay. I mean, you get some pretty good pictures, but
Well, okay, Artist Point. That was like
Artist
our
Point
best
was-
picture.
again for pictures. But man, like I like the pools. I'm a
We
sucker.
both like the pools.
I'm a sucker for that deep blue with the colors.
And
so
only because it's so different. So
Yeah.
the Artist Point, when I was talking about, we have a picture that we've gotten so many reviews and comments from, and how beautiful it is. And it turned out like amazing. The waterfall coming.
but it
through
really
the
is how
valley
it looks too. Like it's
Yeah,
people are about, oh, you oversaturated your picture. Oh, you used an iPhone. Whatever. That's how it looks. Like
Yeah,
that's
it's
one of the few
beautiful.
times where I don't think that's an oversaturated picture. That really is a reflection of what you see. And I mean,
It just depends on what you like. We did love the pools because of the colors and just how different it was, and we loved seeing the depth of it, and then the formations underneath the water, blah 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 blah. Yeah. So, and then a lot of people like Old Faithful.
the mud pots are cool too. The
I
artist
like the
artist mud
artists-
pots.
Yeah, the paint pots and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
A lot
the
of people
paint
talk
pots.
bad about that because it's just mud blurping around, but to
But
me, I
usually
found
there's
that
cool
cool.
pools, and then you've got all the bleed out. You know, they've got huge sections. We've got pictures on our site of all of that runoff that just changes those iridescent colors. I mean, I like it.
And we stuck around for a couple of geysers. We saw Old Faithful go off twice, and we saw one on Fire Loop Hole or Fire Loop.
Old Faithful, you do because you have to.
Oh yeah, you can't
It's
go
not.
there
It's
without being
really
without
not
seeing it.
anything you have to.
It's not like
Yeah.
super. It's cool.
It's not life changing.
You know, for some people it is. There are such things as geyser gazers, which you'll hear about.
Yes,
You know, people
yeah.
literally sit there all day
saw,
and see a geyser go
they've
off,
got,
and then
they've
they
got
let
the
people
radios,
know, and that's how
and
they.
there'll be a little burble. Geyser 137's going off. What the heck?
But that's how the park has
I know.
learned when geysers will go off. So they're important, and there are people who really find it interesting, and they are cool, but they're not cool enough for us to sit down and watch a mound for.
I've noticed
2
I
hours
would bring a
before it
chair.
goes
Like
off.
people bringing chairs out there, setting their cameras up on stands. It's
We did wait for like 45 minutes
because
for
it was
a
supposed. It was
geyser.
supposed to go off like 5 minutes after we got there.
But here's the thing. So we waited and we waited and we waited, and it finally went off. But when it went off, the mist gave off a rainbow.
Yeah.
And
It
so that was
was
unexpected.
it was a
and it was
good-
pretty cool.
It was a good geyser explosion.
And it turned out to be a good picture.
That was frustrating. We get there, the ranger, we drove by it once and it hadn't gone off. We did some shopping for the kids and stuff. We come back and the ranger was there. So it hasn't gone off yet. So, I mean, it's going to be any minute. I'm like, oh my God, any minute. We've got to set up. So
And we're telling everybody else
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
coming.
Yeah,
the
we're
ranger
lying,
told us.
apparently.
And now we look stupid.
to
because
everybody.
The people that we told after they waited for 20 minutes
Yeah.
just left. I'm like, we promise he said it.
Those guys were saying that it's going to blow any minute. We're like, dude, the ranger said it was going to
the
blow any
ranger
minute.
said it, not us.
It was fun.
I think that's about it. I don't know that I have.
Around Mammoth, the elk will hang out in between the boardwalks, which is pretty neat.
Yeah. We got to see, we passed by them on our very first half day because we came in from the northeast entrance, and we got to see them just laying right below Mammoth, but we didn't ever see elk after that. Well, we saw it when we were leaving once on the Madison side. We saw one in between the road.
It caused an
grass.
animal jam.
Caused an animal jam.
One of those hour and a half ones.
Yeah, everyone wanted to see the elk.
I think that's it.
Go into the Old Faithful Lodge, even if you're not staying
Oh,
there. Go in there and look around.
It
It is
is
really cool. It gives off a whole
really cool.
Harry Potter feel without the castle. You'll see, because there's like stairs going everywhere, way up high. And like, where is this going? I mean, that's why I say Harry Potter. But yeah, it is beautiful. Like
They
the
don't let
architecture
dummies
in
like
there
me
is
walk
great.
up there either,
Well, we didn't try. We
which
don't
is
know.
frustrating. There was nobody up there. There's no way there's nobody up there and they let people up.
Well, if there's an elevator, most people are going to take the elevator, not stairs.
There was no elevator going to the freaking roof. It goes to the roof.
It goes to the roof. I don't know. I didn't stay at the
I don't
lodge.
know. Let us know if you know.
Where it goes. Leave it in the comments. Where does that mystery staircase go?
Because we don't know.
Go stay there and let us know.
Yeah. Pay your money.
I think we're good now.
Yeah. The drive-in, like was it Beartooth Pass?
Beartooth Pass, yeah.
Beartooth Pass is
If
definitely
you're coming
recommended.
from Billings,
Yeah,
right, Montana.
So
I don't
Billings,
know
you
what highway that
can
is,
go the north
87
side or the
something.
northeast side, and the northeast side takes you through Beartooth. You get to see a bunch of cool old towns. The only thing is there's a ton of RV traffic, so if you
On
don't,
the Beartooth Highway?
well, coming after it through those towns.
Oh, yeah.
It's
It was a good drive.
it's before it. Those
Yeah.
towns are before it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, once you get away from the RVs, you can move pretty good. I don't like being stuck doing 45 miles an hour. She doesn't care because she doesn't drive. I drive.
Well, sometimes I drive.
And I hate it. Yeah, like tonight.
We're safe. Anyway. All right. Well, if you followed us this
If you
long,
had-
I hope our commentary and all of our advice entertaining enough for you and you learned something from this.
If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. We'll try to answer the best we can.
Yeah. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
We mentioned Mystic Falls being one of our favorite hikes at Yellowstone, so go check it out. And then maybe our playlist of all of our hiking expeditions that we've taken in Badlands, Yellowstone, pretty soon Grand Tetons, and various other vacations we've taken with our kids. Thanks for watching. Hey, oh, and subscribe, because why not?